So, will allowing the migrants to work alleviate at least some of this crisis? Here to answer that question and more is New York City's Emergency Management Commissioner, Zachary Iscol. Zachary, it's great to have you.
Wonderful to be here with you, Elizabeth. Thanks for having me on.
You've had a big job as of late. I want to get your reaction, first of all, to this new order from President Biden. That means about half the migrants currently in New York City right now will now be able to work. How much will this help?
So we're guessing that's about possibly 15,000 people. The city currently has 60,000 people in its care.
So it's not quite half.
It's not quite half.
Okay.
And that you got to understand, there's about 42% are from Venezuela, but that includes families with children. So we estimate about 15,000 may be eligible to work under this new temporary protective status.
Right. We're not going to expect Venezuelan kids to start working.
Correct.
So.
Correct.
All right.
But the city's done a remarkable job over the last year. We have taken in over 113,000 people that have been through our system. 60,000 are still in our care. It's been an incredible effort on the part of the city of New York to do this. But this is, as you have articulated, a national problem, right? This is not just New York City. It's Boston, it's Denver, it's Chicago, it's Eagle Pass, it's places in Texas, Arizona, San Diego. I talked to my counterparts across the country. They're all struggling under this. And so the mayor has been very clear going back now to last fall that we need help, that this needs to be treated as a national crisis.
But you haven't gotten it. I mean, a lot of what Mayor Adams and New York City has asked for, a lot of what a lot of these cities and towns are asking for, they have not gotten.
So we have made a number of requests. Number one is providing work authorization. Just because we are now giving eligibility for temporary protective status to Venezuelans, that's only the first step, right? Now we actually have to do the paperwork, we have to do the screenings. There's a whole operational challenge to actually implementing that we now need to be able to do. And there's going to be a real effort or partnership that's needed with the federal government to do that.
But is it going to help? Is it, I mean, when we hear these figures, and Mayor Adams is out there saying we're going to have to start cutting police and streets and sanitation and basic services?
I think it will help if we can execute, if we can get people out of the system and employed. And I will tell you, I have gotten to know a lot of people in our care over the last year, a lot. The number one thing that they talk to me about is the ability to work. They all have a loved one back home, an aging parent, a special needs child, somebody that they need to provide for. They want to work. A lot of them have real skills and trades that they could be applying. And we've got jobs not only in this state, but across the country. The other things that the mayor has been asking for is also a real strategy for decompression, about where do people go across the country, not just to New York. But there's a lot of places people could be going that once they're eligible to work, they could be filling jobs, helping to grow the economy in those places. So that's another big ask, in addition to providing the right resources that the city of New York and other places need to be able to deal with this crisis.
And how do you respond to people like Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who says, you guys up there, the right to the sanctuary city, right to shelter city, you're the ones, you liberals passed this policy, you deal with it?
So I think that there's a lot of conflation of who is to blame for this, and there's a lot of finger pointing, and I will leave it to the politicians to point fingers. The mayor has been very clear that we've got a crisis. We need to focus on addressing that crisis, and we're not going to participate in the politics or the palace intrigue. We need to work together to solve this problem.
We've heard Mayor Adams say, he's speaking very dire tones. I mean, to say that New York City will be destroyed if we don't get help from the federal government, help we still haven't gotten.
So I think some of his words were taken a little bit out of context, but what he was referring to is this is going to cost the city $12 billion over the next 3 years. $4 to $5 billion a year is more than some of our largest agencies combined spend a year in terms of our budget. And so we are now faced with a very serious peg, which is budget cuts that are going to impact all areas of this city. And I think the larger point that he's making is, you know, there's opportunity here. If you look back at the history of forced migration, and one of the things, you know, when we started this program, you sort of showed people coming over the border. You asked this question, why are people coming? Forced migration is going to be one of the great challenges of the 21st century.
What do you mean forced migration?
So people who are forced to flee their homes because of armed conflict, because of changing climates, because of globalization. You're seeing it in Europe. You're seeing it in parts of Asia.
And it's only going to increase.
You're seeing it in here. In some of our shelters, we have 15, 18 different languages spoken. And in that forced migration, there's opportunity. Every time this country has dealt with forced migration, going back to World War II, European refugees, 1.8 million, Vietnamese boat people, Cubans, Haitians, Soviet Jews. The federal government has run a process to relocate people around the country, get them working. And when it's done that, it's been a huge investment in the American economy and society. When they, and I'll finish this really quickly, when they don't make that investment, the costs are huge. People resort to the underground economy. There's not good outcomes. But if we get this right, this could be an investment in the economy and American society.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.